Hey, Boot, I hope you're doing well. Just with guys like Byron and Jalen Thompson having all that experience last year, how much better do them coming back in your group make you guys as a whole unit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes us a lot better. Everyone, when even, DT, JT, Byron, all those young guys that had some time last year are um, definitely excited for them this year just because they've been in the same system, and it's year two for them, and hopefully they're ready to go. And I know they're ready to go, so excited.
Hey, Buddha, good to see you. Just give us your thoughts on taking on the 49ers in week one, a team that you guys played well against in both games last year.
Yeah, I mean, 49ers are a great team that went to the Super Bowl. A team that, didn't really have a good record 2 years ago. And then last year they just came out and played hard football and, ultimately made the Super Bowl. And, they're a Super Bowl team, NFC West champions. So it's very exciting to go up against them first just to see what we have.
Hey, Buddha, you've had some good battles with George Kittle. I'm wondering if you have any advice if Isaiah Simmons sees him at all. What's it like trying to guard a guy like that?
Yeah, I mean, George Kittle's a great player, great tight end who can block and catch passes as well. And, can't really give you the game plan much, but, you'll probably see us all on Kittle, so you'll see.
Next up, Mike Jurecki, Nick King, Howard Balzer.
Buddha, when you take a look at the 49ers offense, a lot of motion and shifting, what challenges do they pose on a Sunday, knowing that maybe they don't have all their receivers?
Yeah, I mean, for us, 49ers are going to play 49ers offense. Like you said, a team that, shifts and motions a lot of players, a lot of time, team that plays 21 and 12 personnel a lot of time. So it's definitely going to be, fun going against them. And, they're definitely a great team. It's very exciting.
Buddha, you mentioned the Niners having a not great record 2 years ago, and then obviously what they did last year. Do you ever look at something like that? And obviously the NFL is kind of a league where teams go from worst to first every year. Do you look at that and say, could be us?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you think about it, but then again, 49ers are a completely different team than we are, and we're a different team than they are. So for us, as long as we take it, week by week, day by day, game by game, we feel like it's going to be a good season for us. So we're excited for week one, and today, we got our first practice in of game week, and we're very excited.
You mentioned the excitement, Buddha, perspective for you and the whole team, just how this has been since March through all the uncertainty, wondering, maybe some wondered if you ever even get to this day.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if you would have told me a month ago that we were going to be starting on time and playing football, I wouldn't have probably believed you just due to even things like the baseball and MLB and NBA going into a bubble. Like, I was thinking, like, you can't put NFL players in a bubble with there's too many people, too many staff. But, I would just, give a good round of applause for the NFL for doing all the things that, have happened during this COVID time, all the protocols that, everyone made and all that type of stuff. It's very exciting and very cool for me to be a part of, and hopefully we'll keep following the protocols, keep doing everything that we can do to have a full season. So, yeah.
Next up, Catherine Fitzgerald, Nick King, Josh Weinfuss.
Hey, Buddha. I recently got to hear Chase Edmonds' impersonation of you, how he'll mimic your voice sometimes. He says to get inside your head. And I was wondering if you think it is accurate to your voice and also if it is effective trash talk.
Yeah, I mean, everyone tries to reenact my voice. I have a distinctive voice, but no, I don't really feel any type of way towards it just because, that guy's been doing that, since I can remember. So it's definitely funny to where sometimes guys might hit my voice like to a T, and it's like, all right, like, okay, I respect you for that. But Chase, he's terrible at it. So It's not funny.
Budda, besides the obvious change in location and being outside, what else makes today feel any different than the last couple of weeks of training camp?
Yeah, well, I just woke up this morning just excited. It's game week. It's really game week. Sunday is our first game, first real game, no preseason. Like the emotions and excitement that players have, and especially myself, is very exciting. And being outside for the first time was different as well. Catching the ball in the sun and all that type of stuff. Especially in the AZ heat, it gets pretty hot, but it's definitely exciting. Bunch of smiles on our faces, a bunch of excitement, and now it's you take it up a notch.
Hey Budda, first I'm not in my car, so we don't have to worry about that today. Watching film of Jimmy Garoppolo, have you seen anything different from him this year, or compared to what you've seen from him in the past?
Jimmy Garoppolo is a great quarterback, a quarterback who's able to, detect the where the down safety's coming from or blitzes and all that type of stuff. A quarterback who's very accurate, has his realm of people he goes to, and is very good. So I'm very excited to go against Garoppolo in the 49ers offense, just because they have a great offensive coordinator in Shanahan as well, and it's very exciting.
All right, we'll finish it up with Craig Fouie, Mike Jurecki, Catherine Fitzgerald.
Hey, Budda, just curious if Larry Fitzgerald's critique of your golf swing helped you in the offseason and this summer, if your golf game has improved because of Larry's help.
Not at all. I haven't golfed since that time I showed you guys that video. So hopefully during the off season I'll get take some lessons or something, learn from somebody, and hopefully can show you guys my swing again next time.
What did it do by bringing in Drake or Patrick? How did it settle down the secondary?
Drake Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, Kirkpatrick.
Oh, yeah. He's a great corner, a great player who's played good football. It has the chance and possibility for Byron to come back into the nickel position. So we're excited for that. And he's just a great guy, a great guy who has length and tall and can play the defense that we play for sure. And I'm very excited to see what he can do. He's been here maybe 2 weeks or so. So he understands the playbook, and he listens, and he plays and, approaches each day like a pro. And I'm very excited to have him on the team.
Budda, it seems like Vance Joseph focuses a lot of his time on building relationships outside of football too. And I was wondering, what has that been like for you, and how quickly did you notice that when he joined this team?
Yeah, Vance is a great guy. He's always wondering what the players think. Sometimes you might have a coach who just, he just wants his system, and he wants you to do it to best of your ability, and everything's about, the system. But with Vance, he listens to what guys don't like and what guys like, and ultimately I think that's going to help a lot, just because you want to work for a guy like that who's able to listen to his players and listen, because at the end of the day, we're on the football field. So, just a guy like Vance Joseph, it's great to have him as a DC, and I'm excited to play the same defense again. So I'm very excited.
Hey, Kenyan, what do you anticipate your workload looking like on a weekly basis? About how many touches you think?
My best guess is as good as yours, to be honest. We just, kind of getting the game plan situated. Me, Chase, in our room, we got a lot of expectations to kind of go out there and, play behind this O-line that, we expect to go out there and, handle their business. Kyler handle his business, the receiver room handle theirs. So from a specific number standpoint, not really concerned, just want to go out there and put ourselves in the best position that this team win.
Hey, Kenyan, I know you tweeted that, the boot wasn't a big deal and try to calm everybody's fears. What were you thinking when you got hurt? And did you always feel like, you would be fine for the opener? And I'm wondering if, from a conditioning standpoint, if there's any concern there, being ready to carry the ball a decent amount.
To be honest, I was out the boot in like 2 days. So the boot wasn't really much of a concern. I guess it was just something that wasn't really public, so people didn't know if I had it on or not. But I was in out the boot pretty fast, and we got to kind of working out and running around for a while. Actually got like a little under the weather the last few days right before I was actually supposed to practice. I was supposed to show up like Tuesday, Wednesday, but I didn't get to make my grand debut back until Friday. So I was a little delayed, but other than that, I mean, everything else was fine.
Kenyan, what do you think it'll be like playing without fans for the first few games of the season?
I definitely feel like it's gonna be weird. But I mean, just like how I remember some of the basketball players mentioning it about, playing in front of in empty gyms. I mean, we practiced all camp in a empty State Farm Stadium. So, I mean, whenever we step in between those lines, it's real, no matter the situation. So, without the fans being there, the environment will be weird, but, we got to go out there and play ball regardless.
Next up, Darren Urban, Nick King, Richard Simons.
Hey, Kenyan, I'm curious, now that you've been through camp, you saw what the offense could do last year with what you had, but you've added Hopkins, you've added a couple other pieces. The outside enthusiasm for this offense seems pretty big. Is it the same kind of enthusiasm for what you guys can be offensively internally?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we would really put ourselves in a situation to where, we bite off too much and we could chew, put our foot in our mouths to say, but at the end of the day, we have a lot of confidence with the players and the coaching staff to get his game plan kind of rolling. Obviously, it's a week-to-week basis because, we can't look for past this great team that we're going to play this week in San Francisco. But we definitely feel like we have a lot of confidence, and we just want to go out there and, prove it week in and week out.
Kenyan, how much do you think this first game will be a test to kind of see what you guys are or can be playing against the reigning NFC champs?
I mean, they're a great team, obviously, with the things that they did last year. But we feel like we're a better offense than we were last year with a year under Kyle's belt, under Cliff belt, mine personally. We just kind of want to go out there and, prove we can, play on the same field as those guys, obviously, with them being pretty close to winning a Super Bowl championship. So, just looking forward to kind of going out there and, giving our best shot.
Yeah, Kenyan, your first game as a Cardinal was against the 49ers on a short week. And then, how advanced do you feel you are mentally when it comes to the offense from that game to this week now leading up to the first game of the season against them?
Yeah, it's night and day, man. I look at film from the game, both games actually, with the second game kind of being like maybe the third or fourth game that I was here. And I look at, my footwork, hand placement and blocking assignments, landmarks, things of that sort. And I feel like I'm night and day compared to what I was then in terms of my knowledge of the offense and my responsibility. So, like I said, I'm excited. I feel ready to go out there and, put this game plan on the line and, play hard.
All right, we'll finish it up with the last four: Howard Balzer, Catherine Fitzgerald, Kyle Odegaard, Cam Cox.
Hi, Kenyan. Put into perspective as you're at this point now getting ready for Sunday from how far everything has come since March, and some wondering if this season would even happen. What's your overall thought about that, getting ready to start the season?
Yeah, Cliff mentioned it earlier in our team meeting to start the day off, just talking about how really it's a blessing to be in a situation to be able to go out here and play this game that we all love, especially in these circumstances. It's a lot of people, that are reeling from this pandemic. Just a lot of things that, really could be happening to us personally, financially, whatever the case may be. So we just, want to really obviously, put our hearts out there to the people who are really affected by what's going on in the real world. But we want to definitely make the most of the chance that we have now to go out here and play this game that we love. Obviously, coming from March to now, nobody really had a clue on what to expect. Now that it's here, we're going to hit the ground running and, make the most of it.
Kenyan, I know you don't work with Vance Joseph quite as much, but it seems like he's had a pretty significant role in some of the team conversations when y'all have had the day off after Jacob Blake or George Floyd. And I was wondering what it's like to have someone like Vance who can speak to these conversations about racism from a place of his experience when y'all are having those tough conversations.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a man amongst men. And for him to be able to, pour his heart out, not just him, but, a number of guys, coaches, players, to be able to, have these conversations, these platforms to, explain their feelings, their experiences, and to just continue to raise awareness about what's really going on in the real world outside of the bubble that we kind of live in. Because, when we're in in this locker room, everybody, kind of comes together from all different walks of life and, have one main goal to accomplish, and that's to help the team win a championship. But outside of the bubble that we live in, it's a lot of real world stuff that goes on that, needs to be really just put on the forefront sometimes, because, we play a game that we've been playing since we were 6 years old. But now that we're in a position of, power to use our platform to positively affect, people around us, I feel like it's our duty to do that. So the things that he says, and like I said, other people and players in a position of power to, continue to use their platform, I feel like it's a great thing. And we're going to continue to do that today, tomorrow, as long as, we have a voice to, stand up and fight for what's right.
Kenyan, you're obviously the featured back down the stretch, but going into a season being kind of that clear-cut number one guy, which you haven't had a ton in the past, does that mean something to you where you're finally getting this big-time opportunity at the start of a season?
I look at how a lot of guys that are in this situation, they use it as a stepping stone to not only have personal success, but have team success to, help put, their team in the best position these first 4 games. Cliff put a stat up in a team meeting room earlier, and how the Cardinals since 2016 are like 3-21-1 in like the month of September. And I feel like I want to be a part of this turnaround to help this team continue to reach the goals that they want to reach. And it starts with, this Sunday against the 49ers. So I want to go out there, play up to my ability, help the people around me, handle my 111th, obviously, and just continue to play to the standard that I hold myself to.
Kenyan, you talked a lot about the offensive line in the past. Just how have you seen them grow this preseason with no preseason games? And it's no secret, when they were clicking real well at the end of last year, this offense just kind of rolled right along.
Yeah, man. Without those guys, it'll be very difficult for me to do my job. I feel like Chase could speak to that. Anybody in our room could speak to that. Kyler obviously could probably speak to that. Receivers could speak to that. They're the catalyst and the engine of this offense. So I know they probably had a difficult time kind of coming to grips without, having contact and, really roughing people up like they usually do in the preseason. But they were able to really establish, establish their camaraderie, known as the Wild Hogs, riding around on their, souped up scooters that Kyler gave to them last year for Christmas. Those guys are, like one and the same. You can never see one without the other. And I feel like that goes a long way to how the season is going to go, because without them, like I said, we're not going to have a lot of success. So I look forward to them to continue to grow and actually be able to physically, impose their will once the season is going, and, enjoy running behind them and having a lot of success.
Hey, just wondering, any worries about making the team, and when you realized that you were on there, how did it feel?
At first there was initial worries. I was getting no news. So I guess at the end of the day, I'm going to consider everything. No news is good news. And so that's kind of the way I found out after that 1 p.m. Cutoff line hit is when I kind of was relieved of some stress.
Hey, now that you're through training camp and into week one, just how did you think everything went? What were some of your takeaways from any adjustments?
I think things went pretty well, considering circumstances that we were given. Rookies kind of came in with not a lot of opportunities to show what they've had, but I think that I was able just to do just enough to get over the edge, and special teams was something that stuck out. That was a need of opportunity that I needed to fill, and I went up and stepped ahead and took that challenge.
Next up, Doug Haller, Darren Urban, David Brink.
Hey, good to see you again. In college, you always had a reputation for doing a lot of film study. Just how was that process at the NFL level, and have you so far had to spend more time on that than you were doing in college?
Yes, sir. I think I just remember going to Baltimore, I think when I was a senior in high school, and they always told me how much film that Ray Lewis watched, or how much film Ray Lewis watched. And so those are things that I've always tried to incorporate in my game. The older you are, the longer you want to be in the building, the longer you want to stay in the building. The little tidbits and stuff like that from film will work out and pay off in the games.
Hey, I'm curious, and I know you can't get super specific, but with a guy like Kenyan and a guy like Chase, do you have a feeling like you're going to be able to make some kind of impact on the offensive side of the ball? Is it strictly special teams right now? Do you have a general sense?
No, sir, I do not. I'm really just here, and everything as far as getting on the field, I think it all starts with special teams. I've got to earn their trust, and going out there and proving on special teams that I can do it, and then being ready if my number is called.
Hey, the last 2 years at Arizona State, obviously you went into every game knowing you were going to get a ton of touches and be a huge part of the offense. How is it different preparing? I mean, knowing that you could maybe get a couple carries or none at all, or just special teams. I mean, what's that like, just kind of going into a preparation for a game?
Like I said, I think it's just the next man up mentality, being ready, because you never know what may happen. I think I was in a pretty similar situation my freshman year in college, waiting behind Demario Richards and Kalen Ballage. And so, like I said, it's just the next man up mentality, and going out through practice as the number one. I think that's the mentality all the running backs should have, going into a week that you're the starting running back, and you should practice like that.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Catherine Fitzgerald and Richard Sainz.
What do you think it'll be like to make your NFL debut with no fans?
I really haven't thought too much about that. I think of it as practice. Going out there, just really knowing and locking in and knowing that, okay, we've got to win this game. I think at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, winning is the most important thing, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get that win.
Hey, you kind of touched on it a minute ago about, not really getting an opportunity to show what you can do without any preseason games. Can you just talk about how challenging that was to kind of catch the coach's eye, and how much did the amount of playing time you had in the scrimmage help out?
I think, like I said, is the next man up mentality, being ready. And so whenever that opportunity is, whatever opportunity that you get, you got to make the most of it. My running back coach, John Simon, always used to tell us that in practice, he'd get 1 rep, and 1 rep would turn into 2 reps and stuff like that. And so I'm just going out there and making the most of your opportunities, and the rest of it will play out itself.